Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Wally, one half of the Undisputed Champion show, and you are now tuned in to In or Out Sports Debate with my dog, Drew Willingham. Let's go!
LegacyMaker, the All Sports Network, presents a SIRTOBA media production where the struggle is real to be awesome.
5, 4, 3, 2.
The wait is over.
So you're giving it to Dale Earnhardt Jr. because he piggybacked off of his dad's name. The only difference is because there was a junior at the end and not a senior.
Yes, and
Okay.
because the fact is, Drew.
Point with, oh my God! I had Miami Heat winning last night. I was upset too when they lost. This with you because of the fact of what you.
Get your popcorn ready. It's time for the In or Out Sports Debate with your hosts,
Wally, one half of the Undisputed Champion show,
and Drew Willingham.
Hello, everyone. We are live with episode 52 of the In or Out Sports Debate. I'm your host, Drew Willingham, along with this week's special returning guest. He's back from episode 22 as well as episode 34. He's one half of the Undisputed Champions, bobbing his head in my green room. His name is P. Alexander Wally. Welcome back to the show, my man.
What's up, man? How you doing? What's going on?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. We've been celebrating 50 episodes. It just happened last week. Episode 51 was earlier today, and you were here for the second half of Double Debate Tuesday for episode 52. So welcome back, and thank you again for being here.
No problem, man. Glad to be back as always. And now, the symmetrical issues are over, so we tied up now. So I'm good. I'm good now. No more beef.
My man is now here for the third time. We'll definitely acknowledge that here in a little bit. But speaking of things that we definitely acknowledge here on the In or Out Sports Debate, we got to acknowledge Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
This is why this show was so important, and this is why I am personally validating and vouching for this show. If you are anybody in media, sports, professional wrestling, anything, you need to be on In or Out Sports Debate with my man, Drew Willingham.
That right there was the Vault of Fame. We again are here with episode 52 and are live on the LegacyMaker Sports handles right here on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, coming soon to TikTok, as well as LegacyMakerSports.com. You can check out the In or Out Sports Debate on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch, as well as the audio platforms listed here on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Prime, Anchor.fm, and you can also download on iTunes. If you want to throw me a little tippy on Cash App, you can using this handle right here, DWilly87, cash.app /$ DWilly87. You can donate what Darrell Owens says are Willie Bucks right there with my face on it right there at DWilly87. Again, we are at the second part of Double Debate Tuesday. Earlier today was episode 51 with Lamont Thomas. Right now, I'm here with the man, the myth, and the legend, P. Alexander Wally. Welcome back to the show, my man.
Hey, man, that's a social takeover you got with all them platforms, man. You doing all right.
Hey, I'm doing my best to survive out here in these streets, my man. It's one step at a time. Been building this foundation since the last time you were here, and again, can't thank you enough for being back. But with that being said, we got some rounds to cover here, my man. Let's go ahead and take it into round one.
Round one.
And here with round one, let's take it into some sports entertainment. MJF's return to AEW speaks volumes of how desperate the company is for ratings. How do you feel about this, Mr. Wally? Are you in or are you out on this?
I'm in on that. I think it says a lot because now you're starting to see how poorly mismanaged things are behind the scenes. Like, you got all the innovation, you have the right people coming in that are a part of the business, and then this is where you kind of see the novice of what Tony Khan does and doesn't know about the business. So trying to be able to blend personalities, or understanding in general that, you know, this person might be good for business, but this person can also be bad for business. I think he's going to find out the hard way how that's going to go. I don't know if he's going to lose some good people or not, but he's definitely going to have a rough stretch coming up, I would say, for the next 6 months until he can clean all this stuff up.
Yep, I'd have to agree with you on this one. I'm definitely out on this one too. I wouldn't really say they're desperate. You know, they still have some other pieces at play. They just brought in Paige, now known as Saraya, which is going to definitely help boost up ratings or whatnot. So they don't have to solely rely on MJF. There's still a lot of turmoil going on with this Young Bucks and CM Punk and Kenny Omega dilemma that they've had ever since that last pay-per-view. And now with that low ratings that they got last week on Dynamite when they had the Clash of the Champions, pretty much is the newest form of that, when they had the 5 titles up for grabs last Wednesday. Just definitely didn't draw all that well. You put it on Moxley, which was definitely still a good choice to who you had at the beginning, but just goes to show how many times they moved that strap around just to put it back on the same person. So a lot of mismanaged pieces at Bay, which was done by here with Tony Khan, and definitely disappointing to see because they had some momentum going on up until the time that when Vince stepped down and there was a head change over there over WWE. That's when things started shifting. But before that, they had a lot of steam going. When Cody left, that's when the tip of the iceberg really happened, because things started to go downhill a little bit before that, but it really started to shift once that happened.
The main thing I would say is it's okay when you've got all this new up-and-coming stuff going on, when you're going against an older person that's set in his ways. But a lot of those new pieces that you added to your company came from working with the person who's now in charge. So you gotta, now this is where it's like, all right, the chess moves, everything is a chess move at this point. It was easy to play checkers at first because Vince is set in his ways, and you know he's gonna mess up a good thing, period. It doesn't matter what it is or who it is, he's gonna mess up a good thing. But bringing in Saraya, I think it's good, but again, you still got to know how to manage that. You got to know how to still clean up the mess that's going on behind the curtain. And you got to figure out those, like the best people to put in those prominent roles of, you know, the good that comes with the bad or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to understand when to be able to switch gears. And I don't think they've done that with the title scene. Cody having the TNT title 3 times and then going back to Mox for, you know, the 3rd time with the AEW championship. I think that's a bad look. And it's going to be harder to give that title to Danielson because he should have just won it. So yeah, it was no reason not to win it.
Yeah, he should have definitely won it last week. That's why I was scratching my head of all the titles that you're going to put on people and switch up. Like you switched up the tag team championships last week. You should have switched that up.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything from Mox, but in the event of, okay, we just got Mox with the 2nd title run after the interim, you know, after the interim situation. He won it and got the 2nd title. All right, cool. Now let's try to do something different. But Danielson is 100% capable of leading the company or just being one of those strong champions that people can get behind. Or if you want him to be a heel, he could be a heel as well. So why not give him the opportunity to take the baton and just run with it?
I think it's AEW shot at like trying to erase the CM Punk reign because it only lasted for a few hours. Like it didn't really last long enough. So that's their attempt at trying to expunge it, even though everybody knows what happened is the elephant in the room. You can't really expunge what happened, what was said after the show, and what happened as a result of that.
It's not going to get it back either.
So the only time will tell to see what Tony Khan has to say to defend why he did what he did, because at some point it'll come out, just not in this moment. But with that said, speaking to the next moment, let's go ahead and take this into round 2.
Round 2.
Now, here with round two, another team that Wally knows very well, the Philadelphia Phillies have a legitimate shot at clinching the wild card spot by the end of this season. How do you feel about this one, man, when it comes to the NL East or just NL in general? How do you feel? Do you think they're going to be in or out on this, them getting a wild card spot? I know it's tough.
I'll say in. I'll go in. Okay. So first and foremost, when we talked about this the last time, I projected 91 and 71 for the season. Just for the regular season, I said 91 and 71. We are currently at this particular moment 83 and 69. That's 152 games. There's still 10 games left to be played. Give or take, we would have to run the table and win 8 and lose 2 to kind of hit that mark for what I was talking about. But I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like it's just gonna be difficult. Like you got Alec Baum. He's got what 12 home runs. He's not our leading home run hitter. Schwarber is, but he's got the best batting percentage at 291. That's not really enough for me coming off of what we need to be doing. We are currently, let's see, Schwarber's got 42 home runs. Hoskins has 29, but we don't really have, like, we're averaging the same amount of runs that we're giving up per game. 4.7 runs that we're scoring, and then we're giving up 4.3. That's not really going to be conducive to winning games or making a good run in the playoffs if we make it past the wild card round anyway. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, true. I mean, you're right. I mean, but when it comes to the NL East, though, and it comes to everything you factor when it comes to the wild card spot and everything, I've actually got to disagree here. I'm going out. When you look at the wild card standings here with the National League and you put it all into perspective, the Phillies are right there, but they're at the very bottom of the 3 teams that are currently there. Milwaukee Brewers are only a game and a half out, and even though we're at the very final stretch of this season, it's very close with a little over 10 games left to go for each team. You know, definitely going to be a tight one here, but the Brewers have come back from tighter spots before. They have a decent lineup left to go. With the Phillies here, they're currently in the top of the 7th, and this is a live game currently as we speak, as we are live. The Phillies and the Cubs are currently tied. When you are tied with a team that is 67 and 86, a very, very bad team, you should be very, very much in the lead in this moment, not tied in the 7th inning. So because of that, because you are struggling with a team known as the Chicago Cubs, I cannot give it to you. And it's not just because I'm a Braves fan. We're not even going to go into that part of it. But we already know how the Braves are doing. And whether they come back and they get the lead because they are a game back behind the Mets for the NL East lead, the Phillies are 13 games behind the Braves and the Mets. So when you put all that into the equation, they don't have anything to do with that. The Braves do. The Braves are either a lock for the wild card or the NL East, one of the 2 spots, same as the Mets. The Phillies have to get in via wild card. They have a shot. They're up a game and a half. I just don't see it with what is remaining for the Brewers' schedule.
Based on the trouble of what I just said, as far as the batting averages for our lead hitters, then also, too, with just, like, we don't really have any strong pitching records. You got Nola, who's 10 and 12 on the season. You got Zach Wheeler, who normally would be a little bit better than he is right now. He's 11 and 7, but we're not, like, the hitting and then the pitching is not consistent. It's not strong enough, but I feel like if it could be more consistent, like every game, no matter who's coming in or, you know, what part of the game we're in, I feel like we could close out on a high note, but it remains to be seen going into the playoffs, though, if we can get in there. Being third in the division, we would have to be second for me to feel strongly about a deep playoff run or just win the division outright, but we ain't there yet.
Now, to support your claim, the Brewers are getting smacked right now by the Cardinals 5-0 in the bottom of the 5th. However, this is my definitive part. They do have the Cardinals one more time tomorrow, but after that on Thursday, they have the Marlins, who are 63 and 90. They have the Marlins again on Friday as well as Saturday and Sunday. It's a 4-game series. After that, they have a 3-game series against the 71 and 83 Diamondbacks, who don't have much to play for either. So when you have 7 games against teams that are both under 500, you have a legitimate shot at coming back against these Phillies team for the 3rd spot in the wild card. That's why I have to give it to the Brewers based on what they have left. When it comes to the Phillies, and you put the Phillies schedule into perspective, they are playing the Cubs right now, a team that is 67-86, and they're losing. I can't emphasize that enough. I'm not losing their tie, but it's still just as bad as losing. When you play tomorrow, the Cubs, as well as Thursday, those are two teams. There's still two more times you're playing a team that's under. So if you're going to lose to them tonight, that's not looking good for you in the future. Then after that, you have the lowly Washington Nationals, who have not had a great season as well, coming off of what they've come off as well. So when you have the Cubs and the Nationals, there's no reason that by the end of this two series that you should have won this, because or at least locked in that wild card spot, because after that you have to play against the Astros for the final 3 games of the season, which will be tough because the Astros, you already know how they've been, and they're no longer the cheaters of the National League. They actually are legit. So when you put all that in perspective, they either have to clinch it between these next few games with the Cubs and after that with the Nationals. If not, they're screwed when it comes to the Astros. That's why I gave the shot to the Brewers.
My record would have been solid for them to get in there. My projected record would have been.
You did have a pretty decent projection, and we were talking about this not too long ago, and you sent that message to me about your projection that you had made for the Phillies, and you have been pretty spot on from your takes from earlier in the season compared to other guys that I've had on here talking about the Phillies and stuff. You've been the closest one, so far throughout, I got to give you the nod and consistency. Everything's the key. So maybe here with what you've said, it may go in your favor, and I may be wrong. We'll look back at this in the playoff time, and I may have to get you back on here to defend it, whether you're wrong and I'm or right. Either one, we'll see. So
I'll pray for
it. With that, man, we've gone through 2 rounds so far of this episode 52, and I want to give some acknowledgement to Wizel Hefe in the Stuck Into My Mind podcast, a show that he had me on yesterday. This is the logo to the show right here, the Stuck in My Mind podcast, and he had me on for a guest spot yesterday. Let's go and take a look at the highlight of that. One of my biggest influences is Chris Farley. So when you see me get animated and I talk like this, and then I bring it back down and we start talking like this, and then we get back animated like this, that is from Chris Farley. So between that, Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, that crew from back then, big fans of them. So whenever their movies came out, even if they weren't comedies and they sucked ass, I still watched them. So
one of my favorite movies is Black Sheep, man.
Yep, and with that, all except Beverly Hills Ninja was but I mean, but I mean, the rest of them were great. Tommy Boy is still my favorite.
Oh, Tommy Boy, yeah, Tommy Boy is definitely one of my favorite too.
Yeah, man, it's that's honestly like that type of professional wrestling, the character promo aspect. Chris Farley, who was another big inspiration for me growing up. That is how, when you really think back on when your experience on episode 38 of my show, that's what I really try to bring to my show, the sports entertainment aspect of it, to where I'm going to drive my point across, but in an entertaining way to where it leaves an impact on you to where you're thinking about it. It's like, man, watching First Take was bland as hell as compared to watching this. This is a sports debate show to where, yeah, they're going to agree on some stuff, but they're going to disagree on stuff. But it's not going to be like other debate shows where they're going to disagree on everything because the other person who's in the wrong is not making sense for their reason. And on my show, I would rather us agree and just, kind of compliment each other on our facts when we agree, then go at each other when we disagree. That's how you have a fun sports debate show. And that's how I've carried the Chris Farley, inspiration, the Attitude Era inspiration, and the promo actions like we talked about earlier. Sometimes you're put into situations, whether it's joining other shows or just in life in general, where you're not fully prepared for it. And in WWE in the Attitude Era, you had to be ready to go because they gave you the stick, which is known as the mic, to you guys who are not wrestling fans, and you got to be ready to go when the light is on, when the red light is on and you are live. What are you going to say? Seeing what you guys are doing and knowing you in the short time frames that I have, there's certain elements to what you do that inspire me. So for you guys out there in these streets that want to get to this point, this is one of the shows that you need to strive to be on. And I can mark that off my list today as a show that I was finally on. So thank you, Wise, for having me on here today. I really appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate you coming through, man. I was in a bind. You stepped up to the plate, hit a grand slam for me, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Thank all of you loyal people out there who enjoy what we do. And even if you don't enjoy sports or what we're talking about, the ones who even share it and are just fans of it because you like us, thank you for being part of what we do and what makes special to us. Because if it wasn't for the fans and if it wasn't for people that were there consistently throughout when I started to go live, I couldn't guarantee that there would be a 50th episode. Or not only that, but the 50th episode wouldn't have even gotten here as fast as it did. So without the fans, without people like Real Wise El Jefe here, Snowman Brian Snow, Cole Johnson, my guys at the Legacy Maker Sports Network, especially Jarrell Owens, all of you there who have inspired me to step my game up from September 2018 to September 2022. Thank all of you for what you've done for me, because without you, for those of you even before the Legacy Maker Sports Network happened, I had my back when I was down and helped build me up to where I am now. All of you have a hand in it. Thank you very much for everything you've done. And that right here was a couple of clips from the show that I was on yesterday, the Stuck in My Mind podcast with Wise El Jefe. Real talk for the real people, the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Thank you again, Wise, for having me on, and thank you again for the opportunity to share that as well. With that said, we do have some breaking news as well we need to add in with the show. And that breaking news is this. Next Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m., episode 53, Joey Raymond returns to talk a bunch of baseball and some NFL action, as well as some college football action as well. Next Tuesday, October 4th, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern, live here on the In or Out Sports Debate. But again, we are here for episode 52 with P. Alexander Wally. And with that being said, let's go ahead and take that into round 3.
Round 3.
And with round 3, back to some wrestling action here. The addition of Solo Sikoa and the Honorary Uce, Sami Zayn will make the Bloodline unstoppable leading up to Wrestlemania and beyond. How do you feel about this one, Wally? Are you in or are you out on this one?
Out. I say out because it's not gonna make it that far, because it's either gonna be some type of dissension within the ranks, or something on the outside is gonna come and cause that rift to where Sami either gets put out, or he's going to get turned on, or he's just going to try to make his bid to challenge Roman. And then that's where the divide comes in at. So at some point, I don't think Roman's even really going to make it to Mania with the championships, or at least one of them. But if he does, I don't see the Bloodline playing a factor if we're talking about Roman having the championship by Mania. With Sami, nah. Sami's not going to be involved at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got to disagree on this one. I'm in. And the reason why I think it's going to help him out is because, I mean, you're making it sound like it's not going to last too long, that by the time Survivor Series shows up, they're going to be descended as far as Sami Zayn goes or whatnot. I'll give you a second to kind of reflect on that. But with my take on it, I feel like this is going to carry into WrestleMania. The Rock's going to show up. Where it's going to be at, LA, going to be big time. He's also got the first quarter of next year off and has plans to be around the XFL because he does have ownership stock in the XFL, practically owns the entire thing. So with that being said, he's going to be around for the first quarter of next year so that way he can see that the operations of the XFL take off pretty well, and that he also can probably fulfill one last run in the WWE and put Roman over. And what better way to do that by having the Bloodline as strong as possible? That's what they're gearing up for now. Now that we are in September, almost in October, getting closer to Survivor Series, I feel like The Rock could show up. We have that big announcement there because Survivor Series, they like to be a big place for a big announcement. That or Royal Rumble. And I feel like Royal Rumble is too close to WrestleMania to announce this. If they're going to announce this and they're going to announce The Rock coming back to face Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, it's going to be a Survivor Series.
Okay. What I mean by them being unstoppable, I feel like that will go at least until like the Rumble. I'm not saying that they're gonna like dismantle the whole group. That's not what I'm thinking. I just think Rock coming back at some point in the first quarter of next year, they don't need a title to be in the mix of that. He's not challenging Roman for the title. He's not going to take the title because he's not going to be there after whatever happens at Mania. It's not going to work with having Sami in the picture and then still go by the term of, the bloodline. It's not going to work to me. So therefore, he's going to either challenge Roman at some point between now and Mania, and that's where it'll legitimately be the bloodline. And then you can bring The Rock back in the picture and maybe have one of the other female wrestlers that are in the family get involved. So you have both sides, you know what I'm saying, playing a part in the story with the family. Because then at that point, then everybody's involved. Rock comes back, and then it's like, damn, which side are we going to take? But they don't need a title in the mix of that. If it's not going to be Rock and Roman in LA, it has to be Roman versus Cody.
No, you're right. Because, I mean, they owe that to him for everything he did with that torn pec match.
Not only that, Cody is the only legitimate contender that can go family history versus family history. Longevity. Family had promoters in it. Dusty was booking matches. Same as the NOI family with their promotions and their booking and all. There's nobody on paper that could really match Roman's credibility better than Cody at this point. He's already beat everybody else. And then if Rock comes in, that's not for a title. There's no need for a title to be involved. That match is going to be the last match on whichever night of Mania it happens. You don't need a title.
True, because they're going to be pretty much fighting for the tribal chief title. Because
exactly.
what The Rock's meant to the family for 20 years. Yeah, I see where you're going with that.
And then you'll have the SummerSlam 92 moment where you've got the whole Hart family. You'll have everybody in the ring after that. And that'll really be the final blessing of, all right, that was probably Rock's last match. Roman is the guy in the family now. There you go.
Yeah, I like how that goes. Just you got to be careful with how that pans out because The Rock still needs to leave that match as still the biggest Hollywood draw and to continue to be the Hollywood draw. So they just have to do it carefully.
He will. He just will gracefully bow out because if he wins, that leaves the door open for him to come back another time.
I don't think he will. This is going to be it because even with interviews that they've been talking about, I mean, he's 50 years old. So as you're in your 50s, before Triple H had his heart episode, even he was talking about how in that last match they had between him, Shawn Michaels, Kane, and Undertaker, about how he had torn his quad or whatever. Again, when they're doing all this stuff in their 50s, their body can't withstand this type of impact anymore.
And who were we just talking about had their last match in August when we were talking? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know, but that one's a fluke.
Nearly as conditioned as The Rock does. He doesn't take care of himself nowhere near as close as The Rock does. And on top of that, it's not the same purpose behind him showing up.
Yeah, but the last time The Rock was in a match, that one with Ronda Rousey or whatever that he did, he got hurt and it kind of delayed some projects that he had after that. I forget which film he was shooting, but it delayed filming time on that because of that injury that he had.
Because it wasn't planned. It was planned to show up for that spot. It wasn't a set run that was in place to build the match. It was like, hey, could you come to Dallas for this promo? Sure, I got 20 minutes. And then, oops, he got hurt. But to know what's going on, I can guarantee you by January, he's gonna start taking bumps. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. He's going to show up that first Raw or SmackDown after the Rumble, and the shit's going to hit the fan from there. The other guy I do the podcast with, he doesn't listen to me. You got to listen to me. The dude with the Bray Wyatt dreads, he don't listen to me. He's been telling himself for 2 years. He don't listen.
He's watching right now. What's up, Corey? I know you're watching right now, somewhere out there. We're about to acknowledge the comments here in a second. So if you're watching, go ahead and drop us a line in the comments. Fans, for you out there who are watching, definitely we appreciate you keeping up with us this far at the halfway point of the show with round 3. Let's go ahead and take this into the medial mayhem and see what you got to say at the midway point of the show. With the medial mayhem, we've got some comments from the fans that we got to acknowledge right quick. Starting off with Rick from Facebook. Rick says 52. Thank you for acknowledging 52, Rick. We appreciate you for looking out. Appreciate it. AEW is desperate, trying to play catch up.
I agree, but now this is where it's like you said about on the podcast you did yesterday. Now you got the mic in your hand. Well, now this is the time where you got to hit back. It's sink or swim. So what you gonna do? Because that dude up in Connecticut, he know what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't no, hey, my dad got money, so I'm gonna play around and get into this. He know what he's doing. So,
and that dad might just show up to your doorstep if you do go out of business, just to tell you this because he wants to.
Yeah,
because he did the WCW, and he'll do it again. So, even though the chances are very slim, I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon would get on his jet and come out of whatever island he's on retiring from in that moment, from whatever he's enjoying in his time right now, and just to show up to Tony Khan's front door just to say that. So
yeah,
keep that in mind, Rick. That's probably what he's waiting for. He's going to keep on kicking the bucket around just until he can do that. MJF will be the next Roman Reigns of wrestling.
Bitch, are you for real?
Get him out of here. Chad, get out of here. There's no way.
Let's go MJF. Cash that chip in. What up, Drew? And the guy who shall not be named. Ouch! I felt that one.
That's why I called him. That's why I called him the guy with the Bray Wyatt dreads, because I saw that comment as soon as we started. He came on here. Damn! On here 20 minutes, 30 minutes ago with the disrespect. As soon as we got started. So whatever. Whatever.
Damn, dog. Come on, guys. I mean, it's one of those like
What?
Come on, man. Like, come on, y'all need to turn it down, because I don't want Wally up here going like this.
Would you please shut the hell up?
I don't need him turning into Chris Jericho and then sliding into The Rock's character.
You see, The Rock is going to take his boot.
Oh, no. Not the boot.
And then The Rock is going to turn it horizontal or sideways, just the way you like it, or so The Rock has heard.
Wait a minute.
And then, Kurt, in one swift motion, The Rock is going to take his boot and stick it straight up your candy ass!
Absolutely. So I could just see you morphing into that at some point.
Look, for next time when we next time I come back on the show, we're just gonna do the Chris Jericho with the pen. You just made the list. That's it. Just get it ready. Just get it ready for my next episode. That's all I'm gonna do. And if I click the pen, it's over. That's it.
I don't think I can click this enough, guys. Blocked for this. Blocked for this. That is Wally's take on that one.
Get him out of here.
With that, at least Derek has your back and says Phillies will make it.
I hope so. Like I said, I'm gonna pray for it. I wanted my 91-71. I feel like that was a strong enough record to just have a solid spot without the wild card situation. But we got 10 games left, so we got to win 8 of those 10 for me to hit my projection. So I don't know, but I'm gonna pray for it though. I'll take it.
Okay. Derek then says he said suck ass laughing emojis, because that's what I did say in that highlight reel. So yes, Derek, Thank you. And for that, I will give you this. That's followed up by Chad Power saying Roman loses to The Rock.
You know, liar.
You know,
gotta go.
As much of a fan as I am of The Rock, I think you're doing this, Chad.
Good shit. Stay off the weed.
Absolutely. Stay off it because something's going on if you think that Roman's going to lose to The Rock, and especially if a championship's involved at this point in the career.
Yeah, you're missing the whole point. Did he not pay attention to what we were talking about just now?
I don't think so. I think that's why he's doing the lettuce in the background.
Or you're not going to build him up for 2 years for him to lose the title or lose at all to a part-time legend that's probably just only coming back for the sake of family and to have a more legitimate last match.
I mean, Chad, he made these 2 words famous.
Acknowledge me.
Absolutely. Made him famous.
Acknowledge me.
I said that in the NICU when I first came out, but
I think you might have said that.
What? Say what again? Say what? Say what again? Say what again?
Man, it just wasn't no social media, so I can't verify it for y'all. But I definitely
come on, man.
I did.
I don't think it'll make them unstoppable. You already see dissension amongst them. Eventually, Sami and Kevin will take the titles from the Usos. Roman will drop one or both before Mania. That's a hell of a prediction there, Corey. I kind of like it, though, at the same time. What do you think?
That feeds the narrative of there doesn't need to be a title involved for Rock versus Roman. Because at that point, you're looking at the family, and it's like, well, damn, who do we need to follow here? Because DJ is a legend, and then you look at Roman, it's like, well, you don't have the titles anymore. So that's where you look at, who's going to be the true leader of the family at this point, because you don't have what you once had, and then you still want to be the leader of the family. So, like I said, it's all going to unfold, but the Black Bray Wyatt, he's right as far as there's not going to be it's going to be Sami and Kevin that's going to take the titles from the Usos at Mania. That's exactly how that's going to happen. But Sami has to get the boot anytime between now and the Rumble for that to make sense. Like I said.
Corey, I like the comment. I agree with it, but this is the closest I've ever been to Wilson off of Home Improvement with me looking like I'm over the fence when I'm talking, because you can't even see what I'm saying because the comment is covering the bottom part of my face. So yes, keep them coming. Keep me looking like Wilson. This is awesome. Derek then fires back with Sami versus Roman at Survivor Series. Come on, man.
Yeah! Fire!
No sooner than the Rumble. No sooner. It might.
You should know your role and shut your mouth.
Thank you. Let day one be the first little domino that falls with the whole Sami getting put out thing. That's when it's day one is going to be when all that starts. Just thank me later. Just remember what I said.
I thought that was going to be last Friday when he opened his mouth. It caught me off guard when he threw him that Honorary Uce shirt, because when Jey Uso ripped the shirt off of him, I was like, wow, this is happening a lot faster than I thought. Then he threw him the shirt, and I think if anybody out there with a heart or emotion probably had a little bit of a feeling there. They felt good for Sami in a slight moment, even though he's been a peasant and a pest in the past. In that moment, no matter who it was, you'd got to feel good for him. So that's just kind of like what was felt in that moment. But no, I don't agree with that being going on. Yeah. It's going to happen definitely well before. It's a reason why we don't listen to people that look like Farnsworth Bentley. Chad gotta go. So he follows that up with, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Good, man.
Well, Joey, I'm glad that you made it because we did announce earlier, and I'll pull it back up again so that way, since you're here, the episode 53 promo for next week. So thank you for being here next week, my man. Other than that, P. Alexander Wally comments again with the exclamation marks.
That was responding to Chad's gotta go.
Yeah, Chad is definitely going to have to go. I still would love for that Sting versus The Undertaker match for WrestleMania finally and make it a steel cage one. Wow. You want them to be like that at this stage in their career? I might have to go down to Wilson for this one.
See, who the hell is going to push them down the ramp in their wheelchairs to get in the ring, have a steel cage match, and then wheel them back out of the ring? Nobody wants to see that. Those are my two favorite wrestlers. I don't want to see it no more.
You can't handle the truth.
Because it's facts. My man is spitting facts. You're going to have to wheel him down. You're going to have to wheel him back. And then Sandra Brown is going to pop out of the corner and say this.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Because
what you going to get? You don't even know what you're going to get during that match. Somebody's going to throw a rod just off an Irish whip, and that's it. The match is over.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. It's definitely going to be wild. And I don't want to see that. So we had a great run with The Undertaker. It's definitely going to be not different without him. But so far, they're doing pretty good. So let's just keep it going with what we got. Sure. Roman loses to The Rock. Drew play it. Hell to the no. And honestly, Corey, I would, but I retired it. I retired it because it kept hitting me for the music. So I retired it. So I'm sorry. I would love to have it, but I don't have it.
You gotta save. You gotta put these in a vault. You can't. You gotta. It's certain ones you gotta keep. That's one of them. Don't use it every show, but you gotta keep that in the tuck just in case it's warranted. Like the shit Chad been saying all night. He should have got about 3 of those by now.
Well, if Chad could be on the other end of this, I will play this one right now.
Rob kicked it. Looks like Boucher knocked him out cold.
You had the audacity to come at me about an Arsenal dog. Get out of here, man. Get out of here, dog. All right. Wilfredo Otero comes in. Hey, Drew Willingham. Hey, what's up, my man? And just if you saw it earlier, we definitely played the clip from the show earlier, and he was the one who had me on the show. So thank you, El Wise El Jefe, for having me on the show. The Philly Braxton-looking guy is right about Roman versus Rock not needing a title. Only time in 2022 that he has had something right, but it's cool. Hey, just like this guy here, you almost hit it out of the park.
I'm not going to Monday Night Raw with him. And I'm not.
Oh, come on, man.
No, I'm not.
Come on.
Would you please shut the hell up?
Would you guys kiss and make up already? Let's get this together. Y'all need to go to Monday Night Raw, damn it. Let's go. Oh, yeah, sorry. The logo, and my apologies. I've been missing out on that for this episode. I did have it on last episode, Wise. Here it is. This is the new logo that I was gifted with yesterday. Gifted by
nice color.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know that color. You know what's up. You already know just by looking.
Oh, I know what's up, and I saw what happened on Sunday, but whatever.
I'll give you that. We haven't gotten to that yet, but we're about to. I'm about to give you – you're about to have your moment to shine here in a few minutes, and we'll even play this for you. Because that's what's going to happen. We're going to answer to the law for this. All right, don't want to play it too much. Copyrights, dog. But other than that, we've gone through our comments. for this episode. Thank you guys, not for the episode, but for at least for the midway point of the show. Keep them coming, guys. We'll acknowledge them here at the end of the show as well. For that, let's go ahead and take this into round 4, which we have a good one for the by the numbers segment.
Round 4.
And with round 4, CC Sabathia is the greatest athlete to ever wear the number 52 in all of sports history.
Hell no. Hell no. No, not a chance. Not
Ready?
a one.
Out.
All right, I'll give him, he was a legend in his own right. I will give CC that. But if you go 52, you want to sit there, you got to look at Ray Lewis. I'm not really a Ravens fan. I'm not really much of a Ray Lewis fan. But if you look at the body of work and just throughout his career and everything, okay, number 52 is pretty solid in the NFL. But when you get down to it, I would think also after Ray Lewis, I would think Clay Matthews. Other than that, I mean, if you want to go basketball, shout out to Brad Miller. You know what I'm saying? He almost died when Shaq swung at him. Then you got Mo Williams, who wore number 52 for a little while. Mo was my dude. But, I mean, I'm a Philly guy. Shout out to Matt Geiger. I'm saying you can hate it or not. Just it is what it is. Number 52, Matt Geiger. But if we talking baseball, we got to go with Roy Halladay. I'm not giving no Yankees no credit for nothing. I'll go with Roy Halladay. Speaks for itself. Next question.
Before I even give my take, let's go ahead and check out some CC highlights.
CC Sabathia on the mound. The scouting report on CC. The fastball, slider, changeup. He certainly is a power pitcher. Can get the fastball up there in the mid-90s, making his major league debut. And CC, after you make this pitch, the wait is over. Here's the 2-2. And it is a fastball on the inside corner. Long to visit with us shortly. Swing and a miss. And he returns. Chopper speared by the 6'7" 20-year-old out number 2. The 2-2 pitch is a swinging strike 3. There it is. She's going to start. Oh, did he go? He did. That one was 2-2 operation. Struck him out! Game over! CC Sabathia with his first complete game shutout of the year. Strikes out 11. Fastball right here. He is. Hits it deep to center field. Junior will watch it go over his head and out of the ballpark. How about that? Shaw's big numbers. That one's hit a bunch into right field. And Karnak Chris Rose has called it. His second career home run.
17-5 and gets to start today. Still nobody out first inning.
Until now. Not even better. That's the... And again, day of the regular season. Got him. What a strikeout.
Here's the 2-2 delivery. Markakis on an off-speed pitch. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Set up outside. Struck him out. This one is in the books. Sabathia, a complete game.
Good defensive first baseman, but the offense finally 2-2. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. 2-2 pitch. Got him. Strike 3. Sober's down looking. Yankees 1 out away. And the 2-2. He struck him out. Yankees win 1-0. A 98-mile-an-hour fastball puts this one on the left side. Strikeout number 12. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Lucky 13.
About the elimination game than anything else. Once you actually throw your first pitch, you're pitching a big league game. Payoff pitch. Adam Jones goes down swinging. 2 from Sabathia. Breaking pitch gets him looking. Much. As Reynolds goes down swinging. Here comes the 3-2. And McLeod goes down swinging. Can't try to do too much. Sit on him. And McLeod goes down swinging for the second out. They're down to their last out. To Sabathia.
yesterday. Balding. And for the 15th time, the Yankees are on their way to the American League Championship.
Very upset when he was sent down. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for CC as he gets Fowler swinging. Swing and a miss. He got him. Oh, is he pumped up as he gets out of
16 players in the history of the game that have 16 or 3,000 strikeouts. See, there it is. Number 2,500 looking.
The 3-2 struck him out swinging, breaking ball down.
Strikeout number 2,800. So now he is in 20th position all by himself.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Strikeout number 3,000 for CC Sabathia. Congratulations to CC Sabathia. Big moment for the big left-hander.
Wow, what a career.
Considering the fact that he had 3,000 strikeouts, my man is nodded off in the background, that all of that considering, I have to go out with this and agree with him. And with all that being said, I actually have to agree with what Wally had to say. I've got to go with Ray Lewis. And with Ray Lewis as the pick, Ray Lewis is a two-time Super Bowl champion. When it comes to CC Sabathia, he only has that one World Series victory. And he also was a two-time MLB wins leader in 09 and 10. ALCS MVP the year they won the World Series, and a 2007 Cy Young Award winner. But when you compare Ray Lewis's career, he's a 7-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, which is really tough to achieve, a Super Bowl champion as well, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, but he was also the Super Bowl MVP the first go-around. He's part of the Baltimore Ravens Ring of Honor, part of the NFL 100th anniversary team, and the NFL 2000s All-Decade team. That's a lot of achievements that this guy has pulled off in that time frame. With that being said, I have to give it up to Wally for this one, for a good choice for the best athlete to be 52, and I have to agree with that. That's why I'm sticking with that with this.
I will say in Sabathia's defense, longevity wise, as far as what he accomplished, definitely solid, like a great career. He played for the wrong team, in my opinion. I think that video package, that montage, was absolutely absurd for that amount of time. So you must not really be a Braves fan. But anyway, never mind. Just
hey, man, I just give credit where it's due.
President Matt Geiger for president. That's it. There we go. How about that?
I don't know about all that. Let's agree to disagree on this one. When it comes with that. With that, let's take this into the bonus round.
Surprise, motherfucker.
The surprise is this: Bray Wyatt will not be unveiled as the White Rabbit. How do you feel about this one? Are you in or are you out on this one?
You don't think that's him? You don't think
so you are out.
It's too many little caveats involved here. You got longitude, latitude coordinates. You got hotel names. You got little symbolic pieces and quotes, and there's so many different tweets and so many different posts that are intertwined that aren't by time locked, or associated with one another. So the long game is ultimately to get Wyndham back. It's just a matter of which form of him we see, whether it's a new character, whether we get the same character. I personally feel like The Fiend should come back as a character in its own right, but with the way that his mind works, I don't really think that's what we're going to get. We'll just get a more evolved, more aggressive version of Wyndham if he is just going to be himself, and just add those layers to with whatever the Mad Hatter is, maybe add some new pieces and have a faction of some sort. That would work. That could be where one of Roman's titles go, but I didn't say that either because y'all don't listen to me. But Yeah, man, that's what I got on that. It's definitely him. I just feel like it's a matter of when. And I think that's going to be Extreme Rules based on who killed the world. You did.
I disagree. And I only disagree because every single time I get hyped up about Bray Wyatt, SummerSlam this year, before that, WrestleMania, I get hyped up about him. And what happens? Nothing. So when it comes to that, when it comes to Bray Wyatt, when it comes to getting excited, when it comes to all these clues, even though he had Rambling Rabbit as part of the Firefly Funhouse, I want to say out. However, I'm going to disagree with myself and go in. Because of all that being said, I disagree with myself, you, and everyone else, and gotta go in.
Man, if that's not him, I'll be a white rabbit for Halloween my damn self. I'm just whatever. There's no way. It's too many different things now. Like, who else is this going to be for? Is Cody going to be the white rabbit because he has blonde hair? Is it going to be Ric Flair coming back to lead another Four Horsemen group? Like, is that what you're going to give us after all this speculation and build up? You got the merch, you got the QR codes, you got the demonic voice change. You got. Come on, man. Do you want me to break down the who killed the world thing again?
No, but I'm picking up what you're throwing down. But again, I'm disagreeing with myself. That's why I'm picking the opposite, just because I don't want to get my hopes up. I'm tired of getting my hopes up just to get let down because I wanted to see him there at SummerSlam. Instead, we got everybody else and their brother except for him.
And you got EO and Dakota back. So you got everybody and their brother, and you got the two stepsisters and the cousin.
You got Braun Strowman, too.
Not at SummerSlam, but yeah.
Not at SummerSlam, but after that. Yeah, but still, all of this has happened, and he hasn't shown up yet. But now he's just going to show up randomly.
Everything else has to fall in place first. Like, we still haven't seen Alexa change yet.
Alexa's already been changed. She went to psychotherapy or whatever it was.
It's coming. Trust me. Again, never mind.
All right, we'll see it. We'll see it, man. Time will tell if this bonus round is true when it comes to that. Now, with all that being said, we've gone through, all 4 rounds, the bonus. We do have one more left, but I want to acknowledge something before we get into the final round, and that is something called the Highlight Headquarters. With our returning guest here, Wally, let's go ahead and take a look back at his previous 2 times that he was here. Moses Malone is the greatest player to ever wear the number 22 in NBA history. Not of all sports, but in NBA history. Okay. The floor.
But I feel like there's a couple of players. If you go to Clyde Drexler, you got Elgin Baylor, of course. Then I would say in a better team setting, somebody that thrived in that environment too was Tayshaun Prince, who wore the 22. I feel like he's a talent, but I don't consider Rudy Gay like a prominent star, even though he wore the number 22. But I would say other than Moses, I would have to give props to Tayshaun Prince because he understood how to be the glue. He understood how to be that missing scorer or that extra defender, or if Ben or she couldn't do something on the boards, he was that guy that was getting that extra 10, 15 rebounds, whether it was assists or just anything, man. He was just a very, very tough player to have on your team, man. So I think Moses came up a lot different based on the environment being what it was back in that time. It was a different landscape, whether it was just toughness, the physicality. Everybody was aggressive. It wasn't ticky-tack, soft touch foul. Everything is a flagrant now these days. It's just, I don't like it. So I feel like Moses was able to bang and be as aggressive, and I feel like he was that silent motor to those Philly teams. You know what I'm saying? Everybody would always go to Ivoroni. You got Mo Cheeks. You had Doc, of course, who I think is probably the best or the greatest Sixer ever. But I think Moses was that silent motor that was that, you know, he was to Philly how Kareem was to the Lakers, where nobody really wanted to not defy, but nobody really pushed back against Cat. I feel like Moses was that constant in the Philly locker room at that time. Moses was that guy.
For Philly, if this was based on Philly, I would 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
But with this being in all NBA history, I disagree. I'm out. You named some good basketball players in there with Clyde Drexler and Elgin Baylor, and one of those you were correct on, in my opinion. You just didn't pick him at one. And I have to go with Elgin Baylor. With Elgin Baylor, man, you know, he scored 61 points in Game 5 of the 1962 NBA Finals, a season which he only played on weekends due to his service as an Army Reserve. Come on, man, when you're fighting for our country and you're getting NBA championship, or you're fighting for the NBA championship and you're fighting for our country at the same time, you got to give it to our man, Mr. Patriotic. We just celebrated 4th of July last week here on the In or Out Sports Debate with Mr. Darrell Owens. As a Mr. Patriot here, and as I'm going to get animated here on the show with Elgin Baylor, I'm going to say, my man, that you are saying that because you are a homer for the Philadelphia 76ers, and you should be picking my man, Elgin Baylor, as the pick and being out on this so we could play the special clip that we should play if we were both out on a subject. But we can't because you had to go with the homer pick and say Moses Malone. Bo Jackson is the greatest to ever wear the number 34 in all athletes in sports history. How do you feel about this, Mr. Wally? How do you feel about this? Are you in or are you out on this?
Out. First of all, I want to say that Paul Pierce and Giannis Antetokounmpo can kick rocks. Secondly, or firstly, I feel like Bo gets a lot of credit for being a two-sport player, but I don't see the overall dominance of that. So for me, I would say it would probably be Walter Payton and then Shaq, just because their prime or just their careers, there was no they didn't have a match, in my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think Walter Payton's body of work and just the dominance that was Shaq, nah.
3 straight NBA finals, 3 straight championships with the Lakers, and did that with Phil Jackson, who had already had 6 championships with the Bulls coming from another team. So definitely helped him out at the 7-footer as you were pulling up in your facts there with your notes. I love the notes. Shout out to Corey for the notes right there. I love it when people come to the show with notes and stuff. But Bo Jackson, definitely I agree with Wally, was not the best two-sport athlete. However, Bo Jackson was great to wear the number 34, but wasn't the best. I don't even know if I put him in the top 5 or the top 10. But some honorable mentions, like you were saying, got to give it up for Nolan Ryan for the no-hitters. Got to give it up for Sweetness for the Bears for getting that championship. Even though in that one championship they got, he was quiet in that Super Bowl, but he earned it because he put all of his work in for those years leading up to that. He carried the Bears on his back for all those years. He would have to be my number 2. With number 1 is Shaq. 3 straight NBA finals, taking a team, helping change that culture in there that had been shaken up since the whole Magic Johnson debacle of when he got AIDS and came back and played 96. Kobe comes in as a rookie. They needed direction. They bring in someone like Shaq, who'd been around for a few years, but still had a lot to prove, and he did it. Got 3 straight championships. Leaves after that squabble with with Kobe in 04, goes to Miami and gets another championship, another team. It was still in contention for other playoff runs in his latter part of his career, but his body was breaking down. He wasn't taking the best care of himself. And he even admitted if he took better care of his body, he would have probably had another 2 or 3 championships. And if he would have stayed with LA, who knows what would have happened during that first decade of our new millennium. So with that, I got to agree with you guys. I'm out on this too, and I feel like it's got to be Shaq. That right there was Wally's Highlight HQ, showing his previous appearances here on the In or Out Sports Debate. We are here with episode 52, and with that, we have one final round to get to. Let's go ahead and get to it.
Final round.
And with this episode's final round, a team that he knows very well, the Philadelphia Eagles will not remain atop of the NFC East for long if they don't start scoring in the fourth quarter. How do you feel about this one, my man? Are you in or are you out on this?
I'm in on that. I mean, if you look at it, week 1, we start slow, end up winning that game 38-35. Okay, cool. I forget what the score was for the Minnesota game, but my God, 2 days ago on Sunday afternoon, we beat the living hell out of the Washington, whoever, Commandos. 24-0 was the score at halftime. They got lucky and got a safety. Then they lost that for whatever happened. And then they got a touchdown and a 2-point conversion or whatever happened when they got those 8 points in the fourth quarter. So I don't know. But anyways, Eagles won that game. Just in case you didn't know that, Drew. But I think for us, we have to be more consistent offensively with the play calling. If we don't stay sharp with that, like I feel like we did a good job defensively protecting the lead, but we still need to put points on the board. There was a couple of times in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter where we got somewhere, where we could have kicked the field goal, and we kind of squandered a third and whatever, the yardage was on that. So we don't get better with that going towards, like the longer stretch of the season down, December. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something to think about. I definitely agree with this one, too. I'm definitely in on this one as well. So when it comes to the Eagles, they've played the Lions, shut out in the fourth quarter, 14-0. They barely won that one, but they did have a 17-point lead before the Lions came back and scored those 14 unanswered points in the fourth quarter of that game on September 11th. Then they went and played the Minnesota Vikings and were shut out in the third and the fourth quarter in the second half, and then come into the contest against the Commanders in the very similar aspect where they are shut out in the fourth quarter as well as the third quarter. In the second half of 2 straight games, you have been shut out. So, yes, you did come into Washington, and you did lay the smackdown on the candy you-know-whats of the Commanders. However, Mr. Wally, you only scored your points in the second quarter. You scored all 24 points in the second quarter. So had the Commanders been what they were the week before when they played the Lions and played a very tough team in the Lions and came back, then you would have been screwed. However, that was not the case, and you lost in the second half, but you were winning by big before halftime. So that's where you got lucky. You got lucky again, just like you did against the Lions. It will not continue. It will not continue. You got lucky, not really so much against the Vikings, because the Vikings couldn't put up much, and they have a very hyped-up offense. So that was more so pity on them. However, when it comes to these 2 games, you have won back-to-back and not scoring in the second half, you're not going to stay atop. That's why I have to go in.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sacks. 9. I'll give you 1 or 2. 9. Whose fault is that? That is not
luck.
That's
the offensive line.
9?
Well, not all 9 of them. Not all 9 of them are their fault, but probably at least 6 of them.
Remember your quarterback 2 months ago? Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I got that game marked against Philly on the calendar. I got that marked.
Hey, I've been saying watch out for those ankles. Snap at the ankles, especially if you go back and watch the 50-episode special. There's a highlight of me in there talking about watch out for the ankles because in one play, he snapped both of the ankles. Not one play he snaps one and says, I'm going to go tough it out because I'm a tough son of a bitch and go back and go hardcore for my team. No, he snapped them both on the same play. Who else do you know snaps both ankles in one play?
I told everybody he wasn't going to do anything in Indy. Oh, he's coming back to the NFC East. Okay. God bless the team he's playing for. Y'all need the blessing. Y'all going to see everything that they were saying in Philly the last couple of years before he finally got upset and cried and left. And he didn't do nothing.
That's why I didn't get too excited when they beat Jacksonville.
You can't.
Just look at the team that they were. Yeah. However, the game against the Lions, there was something to hang your hat on and be positive about. It was the Lions.
Yeah, but again, we should have never been down in that game against them to start, and then to get up, and then to blow that lead, and to get down to the fourth quarter and finish 38-35. I feel like our defense has kind of held strong since then. The next 2 games, and then who knows what to expect playing against Jacksonville this weekend. But I don't really have any faith in Trevor Lawrence doing any type of damage, but that remains to be seen. Depends on which team shows up on both sides of the ball.
This is true. I mean, when you look at when the Commanders played him, Trevor Lawrence did look pretty decent. And, ever since then, he's kind of done pretty decent since then, because in the last game they played against the Colts this past weekend and beat the Colts soundly, 24-0. That was the week before. The week before.
I'm pretty sure ODU would look good against Washington right now.
Facts. But then the week after that, which was this past week, and my apologies, I was a week behind. Jacksonville won 38-10 over Los Angeles, the Chargers. Even though Herbert's got the messed up ribs, you still got to look at that. I mean, Jacksonville scored 38 points on them and still won by 4 touchdowns.
That's not Justin Herbert's fault. He don't play defense.
But it's still the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's what I'm saying. We're talking we're putting so much shade on them, but you got to give them credit when they're beating a team like that by 4 touchdowns.
Doug Peterson should have never left Philly. No comment.
Here we gotta give it to Doug Peterson. Speaking of giving it to the next one, before we go into the final word, let's go ahead and take a look back at what got us here.
5, 4, 3, 2.
The wait is over. Hello, everyone. We are live with episode 15 of the In or Out Sports Debate.
You took me back. This is why this show was so important, and this is why personally validating and vouching for this show. If you are anybody in media, sports, professional wrestling, anything, you need to be on In or Out Sports Debate with my man Drew Willingham, because this has got to be one of the most fun things I've ever done in a long time.
and I'll say this too quickly for the In or Out Sports Debate Show. Whenever there's a debate show like this involving Drew Willingham, is he the winner? Is the guest the winner? No, the winner is America for experiencing the joy that is the In and Out Sports Debate Show.
I know that in myself, and I'd be naive to say there wasn't any growth from watching the first episode to now episode 49. And it takes the other end of it as well, whether it's one person like Joey who's here, or when we have trios episodes and it's multiple people. It takes teamwork to make the dream work. So with my final word, I want to thank all of you. That's why we have a Vault of Fame. That's why I acknowledge you all at the beginning of the show and induct you at the end for those of you who are currently here, because without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you very much for everything. That's right. The first 50 episodes are now available on the LegacyMaker Sports Network. With that, we have a couple things left to acknowledge before we get on out of here. And the next thing is the Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
That's right. It's that time of the show where we have to acknowledge that Mr. Wally is now a 3-time Vault of Fame inductee. Welcome to the fraternity there, my man. A very few to be here for 3 times or more. He is now here, 3rd time, to tie up his fellow teammate, the other half of the Undisputed Champions, Corey Mann.
Take that, Pat Beverly. Take that.
You guys are now neck and neck at 3 times apiece. With that being said, next week you can come back to the In or Out Sports Debate and see that Joey Raymond will be back next week for episode 53 here on the In or Out Sports Debate next Tuesday, October 4th, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time here on the LegacyMaker Sports Network. You can check out this show on Tuesdays every week here on the LegacyMaker Sports Network platforms, on the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, coming soon, TikTok, and as always, LegacyMakerSports.com. The In or Out Sports Debate is on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch, as well as the Apple and Google Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Prime, Anchor.fm, and you can always download on iTunes. If you want to throw a little donation to the Cash App, a little tippy, throw some Willie Bucks, what Jarrell Owens says, DWillie87, Cash.app, / $DWillie87 if you want to throw a little tippy in the Cash App. Thank you if you do. Other than that, we are here for episode 52. P. Alexander Wally is back for another edition for episode 52. And with that being said, let's go ahead and take this into the last bit of comments from the fans and see what you guys got to say for the Mayhem culmination. And with that, the comments that we have, it looks like it's sad we never got more of the dream matches like Andre the Giant versus Bruiser Brody.
No.
You want to agree?
Not that one.
Wally does not like that one. Sorry, Paulie Fields. Roy Halladay was a great call-out, Wallace, he says.
They had a whole full-blown argument about my name.
I'm just now getting caught up that his name is Wally, not Wallace. Chad Powers actually stuck up for you. No, his name is Wallace. I'm sure it says Derek. Okay, cool story, Derek. Wow, did not know there was an argument, a lightsabering duel going back and forth over your name.
I watched it. I just didn't want to say nothing because I just wanted to see how far it was going to go. Like I was waiting for a death threat or something. Just
I don't know about all that. It wouldn't be one of those because then we would have to get to this situation.
You can't handle the truth.
Absolutely, and then Friday pops up.
Damn!
Put your glasses back on.
That was good. CC was the best 52, says Chad Powers, and he comes back in with that noise. And P. Alexander Wally even commented during the video saying, face bombs. Missed number 34, says Rick, followed by Peyton, Shaq, and Earl Campbell.
I didn't think about Earl Campbell. I thought he was 32.
I thought
Earl
he was
Campbell's
32 as
34?
well. You said we missed number
please.
34, but maybe I'm not too sure what you mean by that, Rick. You might have to elaborate in the comments. We might have to catch up on that after the show. What do you mean by missed number 34? Because if you definitely look back, we definitely covered that in the 2-minute clip of the promo. So I'm not too sure what you mean by that. Other than that, we've been through all the rounds. We've been through the comments for the end of the show. We only have one last thing to do before we roll on out of here, and that is the final word. And with the final word, anything that's on your mind through everything that we discussed throughout the show, or just anything in sports in general, what's on your mind, my man? Go ahead and get it off your chest.
Rick was actually correct. He did wear number 34. Earl Campbell wore number 34. Yeah. Then, let's see. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to give number 52 to Roy Halladay or Matt Geiger because I am not recognizing anybody that plays for the Yankees or any other team in any sport that's in my division for any of my Philly teams. So that's that. And I don't really care about nobody thinking MJF is the next Roman or anything or any kind. It's not happening. And if it does, it's going to be way, way, way down the road. And it won't be in AEW if he ever earns that claim. Then lastly, y'all got to listen to me about the Bloodline thing. Roman won't have any of the titles, but you got to wait for day one for that to kick off. And then, like I also said, don't listen to anything the Black Bray Wyatt says. Listen to me. One more time. Listen to me. That's it.
Say what again? Say what again?
It's right on cue. Like what you can't do that. It's right on cue. Every time. Every time.
Right. My turn. So that was great. That was a great final word there, Wally. I had to mess with you at the end, just all poking for fun, man. That was good. So with the final word, just gotta say, great show, great episode 52, great double debate Tuesday had today with you guys, with Lamont with episode 51, with you with episode 52. We discussed a lot of great things. One thing I will go back and touch up on, out of all the numbers for today, for number 52, there's one person that we forgot. One person that should have gone down as one of the best to wear 52, but despite knee injuries and the way his basketball career derailed, based on the hype of what we heard from this man back in the mid-2000s, coming out of Ohio State, he should have been one of the greatest to wear 52, and that's Greg Odin. He was one who wore 52 as well. So if you look back on it, I would not say he's the greatest. I'm just saying he's someone that we should be talking today in 2022, 15 years later. Out of all the hype that this man had back in the day, he should be someone that we should be talking about as one of the greatest to wear 52. But based on the injuries, unfortunately, we cannot do that. Other than that, with all the other sports topics that we had today, between Eagles, the Commanders, of course, that game was trash. It's horrible. As a Commanders fan, gotta admit, trash game, trash play calling, trash secondary. It was very, very trash secondary from what I saw in that game. So you guys should have won by more. We shouldn't have even scored at the end, but you let Antonio Gibson just run it up the gut there in the red zone to give us the points so we didn't get shut out. So at least got to give my hat off to that. When it comes to CC Sabathia is the greatest to wear 52. Definitely, we had our disagreements on that. Got to agree with Ray Lewis, so we did great with that. The Bloodline story, though, I don't know. I do like your take on that, but it's gonna be interesting to see where that pans out here between now and WrestleMania. I want to see The Rock involved. I'm part of the old school fans who want to see him involved. Just not sure how they're gonna do it, but I have to say, I really, really like the picture that Mr. Wally, or whoever they want to call him in the chat, Wallace, whatever they want to call him. I like the picture that he painted out for what's going to happen with the Bloodline. And if anybody that I know was going to be helping out with creative for WWE, I would sign him up because I like what he had to say about that. So bring you back on for that. My man is hype about that because if I had anybody that could nominate to go help out WWE and creative, it would be you definitely for that storyline. So thank you again for showing up again here today for episode 52, my man. It was definitely a blast. We had a great time here on episode 52.
Yeah, man. It was well worth staying up past my bedtime for that. So I always appreciate the invite, though, man. It was definitely a lot of fun, and we got new comments this time. So the chosen one is gone, so I'm happy about that. So that fixes the energy right there. So I'm always good to come back.
My man. And he said, I missed episode 34 is what he meant. So acknowledging what you said.
Rick.
Yeah, Rick, go back and watch it. You missed it. It was the second ever Trios edition with the Undisputed Champions. It was a great episode, man. You can find it on YouTube. Part of the first 50 episodes. Go back and watch my guys here with me for episode 34 if you want to see some other great entertainment. So other than that, guys, we've had a great episode 52. For my guy to my side, Mr. P. Alexander Wally of the Undisputed Champions, I am Drew Willingham. It's time to check out this badass outro. Everybody stay safe out there in these streets.